Texas Prison Story family, salute y'all. It's your boy Tim Snow back here with another one. And this case here is actually hit worldwide major news. I don't know how many people that watch me watch the news, but if you have, you've seen a little something about it. And I've oftentimes said that the only thing Texas prison system and even the politicians fear is publicity. It's why there's zero transparency inside and why Texas media rarely covers things when there's a problem. You know, it's absolutely insane, right? This case here would already be over and done with. They be cremating Robert Roberson today, or they be burying him. They be getting ready to do it, whatever. If it wasn't for Dr. Phil, I can't lie. All my life, I've never too much liked watching Dr. Phil. His show is a PTSD creating thing, right? Watching people with problems and crazy stuff go on. But I got to give a shout out to Dr. Phil because this case is extremely sick. And Texas wasn't going to do anything except execute this man. Y'all check this out.
I'm back to report that there's good news that the execution of Robert Roberson has been halted for now. The Texas Supreme Court has made a ruling that has granted the right of subpoena that was filed earlier. It's been a roller coaster ride. I've actually attached here a copy of the ruling of the Supreme Court. You can see that it's one that says that things have to be acted upon. It says with laser focus and all due speed. So how long this will hold?
So yeah, salute everybody into the chat. Robert Roberson is a man from Texas who is autistic, right? And back in the old days, we just straight up call him the R word. It's not politically correct anymore. Looking at Robert Roberson, it's clear to tell that his mental faculties are not all there. He's got this childlike demeanor, the look, the way he talks, everything about it says that this man is mental problems, right? Developmental problems. He's still childlike. But what happened was Robert Roberson had a child some type of way, and he was caring for this child. He said he woke up and the baby was laying on the ground. He took the baby and fell out the bed. He took the baby to the hospital, and immediately doctors focused on him as a suspect and being shaken baby syndrome. There was no other investigation done. Nothing. They seen swelling in the baby's brain, automatically went to shaken baby syndrome. Well, all these years later, now they're calling shaken baby syndrome junk science. And the detectives and everybody involved in Robert Roberson's case is saying that he's not guilty and that they're sad and they feel remorse and they regret ever convicting this guy. Believe it or not, one of the officers, lead detectives, said back then he couldn't even tell that Robert Roberson had mental issues. Like, I don't understand that, right? Like, it's clear as day to anybody watching this man, and they knew back then. They just didn't care. This comes back to what we talked about with Clinton Young and everybody else. When something tragic happens, when the public is pushing for a prosecution, they're pushing for somebody to be convicted, then anybody can get it. You know what I mean? Anybody can get it at that time. Hey, you look like the guy that killed somebody, then you're guilty. We got to clear this case. That's all they look about, right? Or look at. So this one is tragic as hell because, listen, with all of the people involved in his case and now being proven that the baby actually died from untreated pneumonia. The man was mental. He didn't realize his child had pneumonia. He never took her to the doctor for it until she passed out and fell out the bed. And then the baby died. It's super unfortunate. This is a tragic situation from beginning to end. But everything in my experience tells me that autistic people with mental disabilities, 9 times out of 10, they're more gentle people. Now, you do have the odd one that's mean. I had a great aunt that was mean as hell, and I was scared of her as a kid. But in all reality, most of them are gentle. So why they went right away to shaken baby syndrome with this man, I don't understand. Right? The tragedy comes for the simple fact that nobody in Texas cared that the prosecutors, the cops, and everybody are saying this man is innocent. Why it took them these many years to come out and say that, I don't know, but it happens a lot, right? People keep a secret, and then their conscience is eating them alive, and they know if that man is executed, their conscience can never be clear. So I think that's a lot of times what happens, right? The same way Clinton Young made it 1 week away from being executed, and new evidence came up about the corruption in his trial. The same thing has happened to Robert Roberson. But I tell you what, this is the spectacular news, right? To be cleared and taken off of death row, the Texas governor has to have that officially recommended by the Board of Pardons and Paroles, which they didn't do it. Why the parole board didn't do this when they heard that, they seen these people on the news, these people giving them statements asking for mercy for this man, it's unbelievable, right? Whoever is over top this parole board, the legislature, the senators, whoever is over top these people, they need to be fired. Because once again, I'll say bad publicity is the only thing Texas fears, right? And they just brought a lot of bad publicity and a lot of bad heat, and they're looking horrible. So what it was left down to was the governor himself could give a 1-day emergency 30-day reprieve and let them figure it out. But he's only done that one time ever in the last 10 years. So it was not expected for him to do it, okay? The saving grace for this man literally was Dr. Phil. That's the crazy part, right? Dr. Phil came from Chicago or wherever he's at, I think that's it. Came down and actually went to Polanski unit. He actually started contacting politicians, and he started making things happen for this man. It got so close to the hour where they said they were having a special meeting in basically the basement of the congressional place in Texas, in Austin. They have a secret war room, they call it. All right, they couldn't figure nothing out because they have to follow the law too. So the only thing that they were able to come up with, they're having special congressional hearings next week, and they subpoenaed Robert Roberson. Now, a subpoena is an actual official thing of the law. When that court subpoenas you, they'll bring you from anywhere in America or anywhere around the world. You're obligated to go. There's no denying it, right? So the Texas legislature subpoenaed the man to this meeting, and oh my God, it's going to be epic when he speaks, right? I don't know what he's going to say, and I even think that was a slight setup, because you're now taking a man with diminished mental faculties, and he has to go speak at this big place after spending 20-something years in solitary confinement. That's pressure, y'all. That's pressure. So I don't know what's going to happen. This guy here, this is clear that this man didn't deserve the death penalty. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pro-death penalty. We talked about it already. I support it. I really do. But I don't think people with mental problems, and I ain't talking about schizophrenia and shit like that. I'm talking about with an IQ that low, with actual mental disabilities, probably shouldn't get the death penalty. Life in prison, life in a mental hospital, something like that. But this is Texas, and all they understand here is kill, 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 kill. All right? You hear all these stories about inmates poking each other and stabbing each other in these other states, and nothing happening to them. They might go to the hole for a year and a half. If it happens here, you're going to death row, and you'll be next. So this state is crazy. If you're not from here, you won't understand it. And that's one of the messages I try to teach these young kids is they got that thing waiting for you called the death penalty. They got life without parole. They got a bunch of tricks in their bags for you. And you can later prove your innocence like this man, and they don't give a damn. All right? They're a one-track mind, and the only way to beat that is stay clear from the system. Stay the hell out the way. It's just not the life you want. And oh, he's from Oklahoma. Okay, Dr. Phil's from Oklahoma. Salute, so I appreciate that. So Dr. Phil came on down from Oklahoma. Wherever he's at now, he took time out of his life to come down here and help this man. So I actually have a new respect for Dr. Phil, right? And somebody might send this to Dr. Phil. I'll be surprised if he don't get this in his inbox later. So shout out to you, Dr. Phil. And I tell you what, it was absolutely awesome to see this. But I had no faith that Dr. Phil was going to be able to do anything, if you want to know the truth. Like, it probably would have took his boss, Oprah, to come down here for me to think anybody would consider it. But it didn't change anything. So when these legislature subpoena the man, guess what? Here comes Ken Paxton, our Attorney General, trying to deny that. Like, literally, they had to go to the Supreme Court of Texas to get that turned down and say, yes, this subpoena is valid. So with the people that convicted him saying he's innocent, with Dr. Phil coming down, putting all this publicity, and the Texas lawmakers subpoenaing this man just to save his life, our attorney general is still pushing to end his life. Like, what type of person would do that? I understand this is your job. You're the top law enforcement guy. You're attorney general. But where's your compassion? Where's your humanity? Where's your love for the other people? All right? I understand we don't love baby killers. Matter of fact, they all can burn in hell. And they need to. They can all get the death penalty. But when it's a case like this that's so obvious and you still don't care, man, come on, man. The voters don't want you to be that hard on crime. We know Republicans stay tough on crime. But Republicans are still Christians. They're still Catholics, Baptists, all this type of shit. They don't believe in this type of thing, right? So I believe they're trying to appease their voting base by taking this man out, and it's going to backfire on them. That's the real true facts, right? This is something that this is unbelievable. But it shows you the state of Texas. You understand? It's just bad. And there's just really no win. And Wayne, I seen what you said. His job is to back the blue, but the blue now is saying they regret focusing on this man and convicting him, and he's innocent, right? If it's back the blue, you back the officer saying to let this man off death row that they made a mistake. Think about it. That doesn't make no sense here. I could totally understand back the blue. That's understandable. But when you come on and say we, the officers, messed up, right? Come on, man. Now what's your excuse? What is your reason? Like, are they counting score on executions? Or is he trying to beat last year? Like, what is going on here? Somebody help me understand this, right? So as it stands right now, when he's done going to this congressional hearing, his execution still stands. So maybe they only prolonged his life for a few days. And if that's all that happened, maybe they did him a disservice, right? He's probably ready to get this over with. You know, Texas got rid of the last meal. There's no last meal. He's not eating good. He's sitting over there at the Walls unit right now, probably nervous wreck. If he even truly understands what's going on right now. Robert Roberson himself said that he would like to forgive these people. He'd like to move on in life and just forget it and forgive. That shows you his innocence right there. Because if you put me on death row for killing my own child when I didn't do it and I loved her, I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive you, right? That's going to be something that's stuck in my mind. The 20 years be damned, just you putting that label on me would kill me. So it's pretty scary, you know what I mean, that this is not being taken serious by the people that matter. And I do believe now, Dr. Phil did another show about this last night, and I have a feeling that Greg Abbott is going to come and give that 30-day reprieve because it's publicity, right? Now he's going to realize that even Republicans are calling his office saying, man, give this man a reprieve at least 30 days. But I don't understand what's going to happen in them 30 days, all right? I have no idea. Everybody, this is a sad case from somebody who's pro-death penalty. I'm telling you right now, it's a brutal state, and absolutely there's been people found innocent on death row later, you know, people that just got picked out of a lineup, things like that. But I still believe in the death penalty, you know. But what I don't believe is the death penalty is any type of deterrent. It's just not real, right? Houston had more murders than LA last year. You're going to get fried in Texas for it, and nothing's going to happen to you out there except you go to prison. So it is not a deterrent. It's only a punishment. But there are times when it's deserved. Literally times where it's deserved. This just ain't that time. You know, it really isn't. And unfortunately, public opinion just don't matter. The average person don't matter. What Tim Snow says on Texas Prison Stories, it don't matter. When Dr. Phil comes on worldwide with one of the biggest followings out of anybody, all of a sudden now it matters. Right? That's what I'm telling y'all about. The transparency and the publicity is what these people fear the most. So it's a sad situation. I want y'all to put y'allself in that man's position. Think about it. He's sitting over there in that little tiny Dave. What's up, Dave? Sitting in that little tiny cell over there because they're small in the Walls unit. He can touch both sides, and he don't know what to do. You know, there's no special visits for him, nothing. He's just in there waiting to die. Literally got 2 hours away from it, and they saved him. So, man, I really don't know. I don't know what to say about this. Y'all tell me in the comments, how do you feel about this? Do y'all think Robert Roberson's life is going to be spared because of Dr. Phil and this publicity, or do you think they're going to execute him? Let me know in the comments, because I really, really have a bad feeling about this, right? I really think the execution is going to go through. I really think Robert Roberson is going to be a memory, and I really think it's just going to be a regret. But I tell you what, the people that had the ability to stop this, or do have the ability to stop this, or get that man back in court, or whatever's going on, y'all better think long and hard about this, because there's a real thing in life called karma, right? There's a real life thing called karma, and if you know this man is innocent, and if you know this man doesn't deserve that, or you even have a slight doubt in your mind, and you go forward with that execution, you got his karma on you. You know what I mean? And knock out, yeah, Dr. Phil from TV, right? It has nothing to do with him being a doctor, psychologist, nothing. It has to do with him having such a gigantic platform. That's all it was. And it's possible Dr. Phil only came down and did this for content, right? Maybe it was for fire content. Dr. Phil is a content creator, TV show. So, I mean, hey, I don't care why he did it. It was badly needed, because the Texas media was ignoring this. The worldwide press was pretty much ignoring this, just like they did Clinton Young. You know what I mean? Like, it's unbelievable how much the media will stonewall the public. You'll never know what's going on in there. You'll never, reading a newspaper, reading on Google, reading anything, you're just never going to know what's going on in there, right? And Clinton Young actually is the one that knows what this man is facing the most. And his foundation, the Clinton Young Foundation, Google that and check it out, is actually one of them working on Robert Roberson's case. They've turned his foundation into working on unfair death penalty cases, saving people that are, like, y'all do me a favor, double tap that screen for me real quick. If you're watching this, we got 85 people watching. Double tap that screen, touch it 2 times, and let me get that thumbs up, please. I appreciate it. So, Clinton Young would have been the perfect person to talk about this, right? But here's the deal. They know if they admit that Robert Roberson is innocent and they free this man, can you imagine that lawsuit that's about to happen? Clinton Young's was 25 million. His is going to be more like 100 million, because they're now admitting that they're wrong, right? They're admitting that they messed up, that they're going to execute the wrong man. So this is going to be about $100 million lawsuit, with Busby and the best lawyers in Texas working on it. What do you think they would rather do? Be honest. Rather be known as the governor and the attorney general and stuff that had to give up $100 million, or you think they just rather execute them and just stick with the story? Because I'm here to tell you, a human being's life is not worth $100 million to nobody. Nobody. The only person you might pick over $100 million is your kid or your mama or yourself. But anybody else in this world, you're giving up for $100 million. I don't care what you say. And that's what they're going to do to him. You know, this is now looking like a financial thing. And that's bad business too. And the politicians, the news people, and everybody, they have to understand what I say all the time. There's going to be a lot smarter people watching than us, right? You can't fool the entire public, not even when you do a media campaign. There's going to be people that see through that and people that understand it's BS. You know what I'm saying? Amber Ann said they're going to execute him and Clinton won't get any money either. You know what? Clinton's getting that money. I ain't going to lie. I think he's going to win that, for the simple fact that they've already proven that that's happening, right? But I don't think he's going to get 25 million. That's what they're not going to do. Clinton might get about a good meal or two, you know, because they're going to say his life wasn't worth 25 million. That's just how it goes, you know. And this man here, he deserves some money, right? Mentally handicapped, been punished, tortured, subpar health care all these years, mental torture, solitary confinement. M-Star Media, salute. I hope Max is okay. Tell Max I said hey. But all the torture that this man went through, which we think is okay for a real life killer, right? If you killed a baby, I don't care if you sit on solitary confinement. I don't give a damn if you go crazy. I don't care if you start cutting your genitalia off. I don't care what you do. I don't care what they do to you, right? But to sit there and do it to an innocent man is evil. It's unbelievable. It's evil. And everybody that took part, and I ain't even blaming the prison, none of that, because they're not the one that sentenced them. They're only doing their job. This is prosecutors and politicians. That's it. Prosecutors and politicians. Come on with it, man. Nothing is going to change in the state of Texas until people start voting their beliefs. Right? They're gonna have to. We're gonna have to organize. So we have 150,000 men, plus or minus, in Texas prisons that have families everywhere. That's a couple million votes, probably. You know what I mean? So think about this. They need to start a voters' union, a voters' league, bipartisan, Republican, Democrat. We're voting for prisoner rights if that's what they need. We're voting for justice system change. Texas is still the state that will put you in prison for marijuana where it's legal everywhere else. Nothing is going to get changed by talking. Nothing's going to get changed by anything except voting. And when these people realize they're making a decision that might have 2 million people or something like that not voting for them, voting against them solely for that reason, bipartisan people, that'll get shit to move. That'll get things to shake. But until then, nothing's gonna happen. All right, they're funded by themselves. The system makes money. Like nothing is gonna change here, and that's a sad reality. And like I say, y'all, this is just not the life you want. And this man here the life was given to him. That's crazy. You know what I mean? You want to sue for 18 for black mold in the shower. So I was in Beaumont at the Medium. We had black mold. There was a Hispanic and white side where they served food, and there was a black side where it served food. The black side had black mold so bad it would drip down nasty shit all in the food. It was making people sick. Nobody cared. And a CO actually sued that prison. When a CO sued the prison, they closed our chow hall, and they started having to bring food from the prison next door. And we stayed like that for a long time. But over and over again, they just kept painting over the black mold. Just paint over it, paint over it. And that officer that worked in there actually seen the opportunity. He sued. You know what I mean? So, yeah, they don't care about you in a Texas prison. And you can bet over in Deathrow, there's probably rats, roaches, ants, gnats. There's everything that you're dealing with in there, too. Just like any other shoe. It's pretty damn crazy. Max, what's up, Max? It's pretty crazy that you're not living in a clean, sterile environment. You're back there with people yelling and screaming and, like I said, self-mutilating, slicing themselves, doing crazy things because they can't handle the pressure. Like, it's literally torture, physically, mentally. You seen when I played the picture or the little video of Clinton Young leaving Death Row, how he looked, all right? He looked like a dead man walking. He looked like he was coming out of a Nazi concentration camp. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not joking, right? Y'all double tap that screen for me, please. Let me get them likes up. Put this shit in the algorithm. Double tap. Just tap the screen 2 times, and it'll like it for me. But yeah, he came out looking like he was in a concentration camp, and that's what Roberson is going through right now. That's what they all look like back there. They get no sunlight. They are malnutrition. It's mental shit. And like I say, I'm okay with that for the ones that deserve it. But for the people like Clint that didn't pull the trigger, and his co-defendants get a light sentence, Robert Roberson where he's innocent, these are problematic. This is a problem. You execute one known innocent person, and now you have to reevaluate your entire death penalty program. Think about it. You have to evaluate your entire death penalty program if you admit you were about to execute one person. And one thing that Texans love is the death penalty. They're all for it here. You'll find very few people. They do the execution watch. I just found out yesterday, Ashland salute. I just found out yesterday that when they do the protest for death row, for the death penalty, they go stand outside the walls unit. They hold up signs with the man's picture on it, anti-death penalty. And right across the parking lot is another protest that's pro-death penalty. Right? Think about that. So you're holding up signs marching against the death penalty, and you got people right across the street in the next parking lot that's saying, fry them, kill them. That's how Texas is. You're going to find more that say kill them than you're going to say save them. But on this case, as media attention gets out and people realize, it's hitting the media today, right now. It's going to be on the local news tonight. It's going to be a top story on, the world news. It's on CNN. It's on everything. This man has a movement behind them, and there's a reason for it. But like I said, personally, I don't see it happening. I hate to say that, and let me knock on some wood. I don't think they're going to save this man because I don't see an actual legal out, right? His case has been submitted to the U.S. Supreme Court. So let me take that back. Maybe if it hits the media all weekend, Dr. Phil did an episode last night. Maybe this will wake up the United States Supreme Court. But now, as they keep talking about, the Supreme Court was a majority now, or 3 people appointed by Donald Trump. It's so conservative, they're the same ones that just overturned Roe versus Wade. So now you're looking at this case and his chance being saved by the United States Supreme Court when their conservatives can be and they're tough on crime. So I don't know. This is going to be a touchy thing. I really do. And you know what? Just so the last inmate that I know of that was actually executed, he was in Galveston. If I remember right, he was in Galveston. If I remember right, he put a baby in a pillowcase and he stomped the baby to death. You understand? An infant, the father put the child in a pillowcase and stomped it to death. That man right there, he deserved everything he got. They should have opened up his cell door and beat his ass about once every week with nightsticks. As soon as them bruises go, come back and give him some more. He deserved that. If Robert Roberson did the shaken baby syndrome while he's mentally retarded or whatever, I know that's not a politically correct, but I don't know what term to use. Wow. If he's doing that, shaking a baby, he probably didn't have the same ill will as the man that put it in a pillowcase and stomped it, right? But that's not what happened. That's what he got convicted on, but that's not what happened. They literally said baby shaking syndrome is junk science. Obviously, I don't know. I guess you can injure a kid for sure, break its neck, do all kind of stuff to it, but they're saying now that the shaken baby syndrome isn't real. I'm not a scientist. I don't know if it is or not. I tend to believe I could have killed my baby by shaking her when she was a kid. Still could at 6 maybe. But they've already proven that this is untreated pneumonia that killed this child. So I don't know what the hell is going on. And Dawn, salute Dawn. That's what I just said. Whoever has an ability to stop this right now and they don't, they're going to have blood on their hands. They're going to have karma. Something's going to happen to their wife, their kids, somebody they love. Like, they have to think about this. You can't be so... I seen somebody say Texas thinks black and white. They do. That's it. They're tough on crime. They give you a lot of time. They force you to work in there. You have no human rights inside of a prison. They just don't care after that judge slaps that gavel. And I get it. Hey, I'm a Texan. I get it. Trust me. I'm born and raised here. I understand the attitude and the environment. But it's just not right. You know what I mean? It's just not right. And this one here, this is going to be a bad black eye on Texas. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the number one opponents of the death penalty in the United States are the citizens of France. How much you want to bet that this has been on the news in France 24 hours a day? You know what I mean? I don't speak French, but I can promise you it is. There's probably protesters on their way from France right now. That's how serious they take it. When Texas people are like, take your butt back to France, we don't care what you're thinking. And that's real life, you know what I mean? So this is it's disturbing on all levels, y'all. Rest in peace to that young, beautiful baby. That's so sad that a young child, 2 years old, loses its life for any reason. Any reason. But imagine being a father, a dad. See, I can relate to this. Imagine being a father and now your baby's dead and they're saying you did it. Like, I'm surprised this man has not taken his life over these years. I would probably have already taken my life if you want to know the truth, because just the pressure and the whole world thinking I did this to my child and knowing I didn't, man, it'd be a bad feeling. I wouldn't know what to do. You know what I mean? And this man has sat there and just taking it like a G. And I don't know if that's because his mental faculties don't allow him to understand what's going on, or he just always had faith in God and knew that things would change. That's what I don't know, right? But either way, when I watched that interview of that man saying that he He forgives whoever. Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is a man with a pure heart, a good soul, and he's the wrong person to be executing. It's just unbelievable. Let me see if I can show y'all something real quick. And I'm going to let you see how obvious it is that this man is not what they said, and how ridiculous it is that the officer said they never noticed this about him at that time. Like, how in the hell is that even possible? Let me see if I can pull one up for y'all. So here goes. Man, there's so much about him right now. Hold on. Y'all tell me in the comments though. Drop it. What do you think's gonna happen? Drop a 1 if you think they're gonna execute him either way. Drop a 2 if you think they're gonna spare his life. That's bad. What I want to know. So I guess this is my lack of faith in the system, my lack of faith in humanity, my lack of faith of the right thing happening, because it happens less often than not. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is sad. One. So I'm gonna be a little bit upset. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be a little bit upset if they kill this dude, and I really do, unfortunately, think it's gonna happen. And Amber, there is always hope, right? So Roberson himself got to Rayo. What's up, Ray? Roberson got to 2 hours away from his execution. Like, they literally already made the bed for him to lay in. You know what I mean? He's literally they're getting his needles. They're preparing them. They got the chaplain there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's what's up, bros. Listen, he said he was in Beto watching G4. Salute to them homies going through the struggle, man. Much love to all of them. I heard my partner Como got a murder case over there. Maybe you could tell me if that's true or not. That was my boy, man, Big Como. But anyway, I just don't have a lot of faith in this system, man. They're gonna do it. And when they do this is going to be the state sanction. This is not going to be a state sanctioned penalty. This is going to be a state sanctioned murder. You know it? And I didn't realize that. Look at that. I didn't know that. I thought they were all executed. I swear I thought the entire Texas 7 was executed. And so they hit them with the law parties also, just like they hit Clinton Young. They were in the commission of another crime, and a murder occurred, so they were all found guilty, and I believe all given the death penalty, since it was an officer that was killed. You know what I mean? And it's this it's scary. It's scary when you got to take your case to the U.S. Supreme Court, because let me tell you something. Robert Roberson has never had any money all this time, right? I can't even imagine how much money Clinton Young Foundation has spent to try to free him the first time, fight this case, and they're trying to raise, I think, $50,000 for his appeal lawyer, right? And Clinton is lucky that he has a mom that loves him, a family that supports him, and all this. But so far, I haven't heard or seen anything about Robert Roberson or his family or anything. He's old enough to where his family's probably passed on. Even they might have believed that he done it. You know, if my brother killed my niece, I'll probably never speak to my brother again. You know, so no telling what happened, how they treat him or whatever. I don't know if he was ever making commissary. I don't know. You know, a lot of the men on death row, they have what you call fans, right? Like death row inmates, especially in Texas, have women that are in love with them. Like, I've actually have a friend that was a death row advocate at one time, and she said she's seen women fist fighting over death row inmates. But I don't know if Robert Roberson had the actual faculties, the game, you would call it, because he's slow, to actually pull these women, hold them, and do like that, right? So I believe he might have had a long, hard bid. And I have no idea who's even behind this. I think it's the Clinton Young Foundation, if you want to know the truth. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do about it. Like, there's nothing we can do about it. This is where your hands are tied, and you have to sit back and watch. This is like watching a Super Bowl and your favorite team is losing because everybody's rooting for this man, you know. And If I had to take my money and bet like I would on the Super Bowl, I would have to bet on the opposite team right now. You know what I'm saying? Georgie, salute. I see you in there. Uh, yeah, M Star Media. Listen, make sure y'all subscribe to M Star Media. She's one of those people that go around bothering the police, but legally, it's a good channel, and it's epic. The shit she does too. I'm too scared to do that, but no. So that's what it is. Like the whole system, and the whole system is like that, right? You get arrested, you got to have money to make the bond. If you get arrested and after you make the bond, you got to have money for your lawyer. You know, you go to jail, you need money to eat on because they don't feed you enough here. Everything is about money, right? If you don't have money, you're in trouble. There's been tons. So I sell all the time. I've never met a man in prison that says he's innocent. I really haven't. But they're out there. There's men that just didn't have money to fight cases and they had to take a plea bargain. They had no other choice. You know, it's just it's sad. It's sad, and that's why the rich and the elite, why they don't get in that much trouble, because they can hire the lawyer that is best friends with the judge. They find out which lawyer is most successful in this court, and that's who they hire. Because listen, the same lawyer that's successful in court number one might not be so successful in court number two, where that judge ain't his friend. But number one, every time he objects, it's sustained. Every time the other one does, overruled. I watched that in my brother's own trial happen back in the day. So I mean, it's real. It's real, you know, and you can hire the attorney that's gonna make it happen for you. The plea deal you want, whatever. It's a damn shame. Damn, Max, the longest bid I did was for a case I was 100% innocent of. I mean, that's sad, right? That's tragic. I mean, I don't know what to say except I'm sorry that happened to you, man, and it happens to a lot of people. Excuse me. So a lot of times when people say they're innocent, it's in all reality they were in the wrong place at the wrong time a lot of times, right? That's why I try to tell the young men and my young homies that I talk to out here in the real world that, hey, man, there's nothing but trouble for you out there in them streets, right? Hanging out on the corner, hanging out in the bars, going to the after parties and all that shit. That's cool when you're a little kid, right? When you had to be home when the street lights came on and now you can stay out all night. I get it. Hey, I was in the clubs too when I was young, but as we grow up, we gotta understand you're riding with your homeboy. He'll throw some dope in your car and stuff it in the seat when you're getting pulled over. Friends tell on friends. Law parties, your buddy might kill somebody. You're a real one, so you don't call 911 and tell on them. You go home and mind your business. Tomorrow you're indicted for capital murder type shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's in real life. Stay to yourself is better. Like, my cutoff game is so strong. There's people right now angry at me because I'm not answering the phone. I don't talk to them. But you know what? I made a conscious decision about a year ago. So any person that's calling my phone that's not doing right, if they're not living right, if they're not actively raising their fucking kids in their home, if they're not working, if they're selling drugs, if they're doing hard drugs, if they're drinking too much, I actively removed them from my life, and I didn't owe nobody an explanation. I didn't tell anybody shit. No, I don't owe anybody anything, because if I go to jail, I gotta pay my bond or sit it out. I gotta pay for my lawyer, and I gotta do my time. And I'm a real man. You'll never see my name in nobody's paperwork. I've never made a statement on nobody. I've never called 911 in my life, and I've never cooperated with the police. I will take my time when the next man's gonna tell riding with me. You know, I'm smart enough and grown enough now to understand this, and that's what these young people got to pay attention to. There's no loyalty out here, right? Your homeboy that's smoking and drinking with you, he's only your friend while he's smoking and drinking with you. That's the real life truth. You stop doing drugs, you stop drinking, and people like that don't want to be around you, and they don't want to, you don't want to be around them. That's the best way to say it. Like, I don't want somebody coming to my house visiting me that's drunk, talking all loud and touching all on my shoulder and shit. I can't stand that, right? I don't want nobody over here geeking for no hard drugs, none of that crazy ass shit, man. It's just the life we have to live as grown adults is oftentimes lonely, sometimes boring. But guess what prison is? It's all the time lonely, all the time boring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, pick your friends wisely. That's the real talk. You know what I'm saying? What y'all talking about Europe? What's going on in these comments? I don't even see that. Everybody's welcome, even the trolls. Hey, listen, if you're a moderator on my channel, the trolls are allowed too. Don't worry about it. They put you in the algorithm too. You know what I mean? So that's true, right? So let me tell you something. Pick your friends wisely because that's who you end up becoming. That's true and not true. Because you can be your own person even with your own friends, right? But pick your friends wisely because you're judged as a person amongst your friends. You understand? Like you might not be in a gang. You might never got jumped in. You just hang around a bunch of gang members. Well, guess what? When you get pulled over, they're gonna put you in the file as one of them too. You're getting that felony stop. You're getting your ass kicked. Everything else too, because of the company you kept. That's you being judged as them, even though you never planned on joining this gang. You know, same thing. Drug dealers. Oh, you like women? Hey, ladies, y'all like dating drug dealers? For some reason in Galveston County, these women are infatuated with drug dealers, right? You, when I stopped selling drugs, I stopped being popular. Think about that. Like, hey, Tim ain't got it no more. We ain't got no reason to call him. On to the next one. So guess what's gonna happen to them? I know another woman here that was dating drug dealer. Well, when the cops pulled him over, guess what? They seen drug dealer and his friend got all these prison tattoos. So they tell her step out the car. When she steps out the car to talk to the police, drug dealer and his friend stuff their drugs and gun in her purse, cause they don't care shit about her. Well, now she's out of prison because she had to do some years over that shit. She wasn't a drug dealer. She wasn't a drug addict, but she liked a drug dealer, and her ass went to prison because he had no loyalty. That's a sad, true story right here. And I tell you what, it hurts to tell it because it's all true and it's facts, and it'll happen to every one of you ladies. Oh, you ladies want to ride around and put his gun in your purse because he's a felon? He's still going to get something called constructive possession. But what's going to happen to you, ma'am, is when he pulls it out and shoots somebody, you're the next Clinton Young on death row because you were holding his gun in the purse. Think about it. Y'all have to think this shit through. You like thugs? Well, they'll be the ones in prison calling you, asking, are you cheating, and send some more money. Right? That's all you're going to get. You fall in love with a fucking gangster. You fall in love with all these type of shit that's negative that your mama told you stay away from, and you're going to get what you're asking for. You hang around drug dealers, drug users, you're going to get what you're asking for. You're going to be sitting in a place where it looks like I'm sitting right now. Look, do you want to drink your fucking water out of that sink right there? Which one you want to live in? Top bunk or bottom bunk? Look at that toilet right there. Let me go the other way. Can I get it? Look at that toilet right there. Do you want to shit in that toilet and wash your clothes in it and put your sodas in it to keep it cool? Do you want that life? If not, watch who you, watch the company you keep. Watch where you go. If you have a house, get your house comfortable where you don't gotta run away from it at night, right? Don't 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 be escaping reality, going to the bars and all that type of shit. Mm-mm. That's not gonna get you what you're asking for, or what you never asked for. And look, that's the key too, right there, Sha. So my grandmother, rest her soul, always told me, and I never understood this back then, that an idle mind was the devil's workshop, right? Think about that. KK, some places they do, some places they don't. It depends on your cellmate. The guys on the East Coast are very, very serious about that. The Texas guys really didn't care. And the Muslim guys are very serious about that also. Yeah, you might. So look what she's saying. And she's right. You might end up in a cell to where, now, hold on. Look, you see that toilet? You might end up in a cell with a cellmate that insists you get on your knee and urinate. Think about that. Imagine being in that cell while he's in that bed. You got to defecate. You got to get on one knee and urinate because he don't want nothing splashing out. He don't want nothing on his floor. And now you're in there on your knee doing this shit. There's nothing good about this. You know what I mean? Don, I'm not sure about that case. Oh, Paige. You're talking about Paige. Yeah, so listen. How come this guy in the second case with sit and pee is not an option? Shit, no. You gonna have, no, sir. Now you're gonna kneel and urinate out of respect because that's his house and that's how it's going down, right? You sit and pee and now you're his bitch, so that's not an option. Kneeling and doing it, that's disrespecting the rules of the house, right? Because the rules in prison say whoever lived in that cell first, that's his cell. He got the right to tell you to get up out of there, And if you're any type of convict, you just gonna get up out of there unless you got the nerves to stab him, stomp him, throw his shit out on the run, and deal with everything afterwards. He just kicked you out of a cell. It's happened to me before. So this is Rick. What's up, Rick? Salute, man. Durst, I see you, Durst. I'm ready for you whenever you're ready, bro. No pressure, no none of that. But when you get ready, let me know. And yeah. So the only thing about death row, it's good and bad, right? That it's solitary confinement because they don't have to deal with nobody's cell rules. They're all in there going crazy. Yeah, shot. Do me a favor, y'all. Double tap that screen. We got about 150 people watching across the things. Tap that screen 2 times for me with your finger, real quick, please. Let's get them likes up, y'all. My likes on these videos have been terrible. Why y'all doing me like that? If you rock with Texas Prison Stories and you support this channel, double tap that screen for me, please. It's free and it will not break your finger. I promise you. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's just nothing about it. But the good part is that you're in your own cell. You make your own rules. You live your way. If you want to walk around butt naked all day, that's what you can do, right? But the bad part is you're alone in your cell all day. You have nobody to talk to. You ain't making no friends. You ain't doing shit. You're isolated. You got books and a radio. That's what they have in Texas. I guess now they have the tablet. But if they don't have anybody to send Robert Roberson money, he ain't watching TV and movies on his tablet and reading the news and all that shit. All that shit costs. So do I think Clinton Young will be in general population or be okay? Of course. Yeah, absolutely. He'll be fine. You know why he'll be fine too? Extra fine? Because he's the one that didn't tell in the case. He tried to keep it real and they all told on him. What will happen is when Clinton Young hits general population, those other guys are going to start getting looked at that they're still in there. If they're still there, they're going to start getting looked at like, hold on, man, you're the one that put this man in here. They're gonna show Clint his due respect as a convict because he's got 18 down. He kept it solid. He's fighting the system. He'll be okay. But what's going to be crazy for Clinton Young is he's going to prison today like a new boot, if that makes any sense. He's got 18 years in, but he's going like a new boot. He's never dealt with the prison environment, ever dealt with having a cellmate that he might not like. He never dealt with all these K2 crazy addicts in there. He's never dealt with any actual inmate to inmate contact, right? So it's going to be a rude awakening for Clinton Young when he gets to general population. You better believe that. If your cellmate was raised to not clean, so I've actually seen cells where it's filthy. I mean, that is pretty rare, but you will see cells every now and then where it's filthy. But all that means is both them guys in there are nasty, right? All of them, both of them are gross. Because if you're in a cell and you're dirty, you're leaving trash in there, you're not taking turns helping to clean the floor, you're not helping to wash the walls, you leave some urine on a toilet, you do any type of thing like that in there with somebody that's a clean freak, yeah, you're probably going to get killed. You know what I mean? He'll probably throw your mattress over the run when you go into the day room and tell you not to come back. It's going to be a bad situation. But at the same time, and now that's what we don't allow in here is self-promotion. We're not going to allow you to come in my live and self-promote yourself and you've never shared out one of my videos. I'm sorry there. Let me take that one out. So yeah, I mean, the pressure Clinton Young is getting ready to feel right now from fellow inmates and stuff like that, it's going to be, let me get that person out of here. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to be like walking into prison for the first time. And here goes another thing. Clinton Young is going to come in frustrated, right? He's going to come in angry. Not that he wasn't already angry, but he's coming in a little more angry, all right? Because his second indictment here was purely about that lawsuit. They would have indicted him years ago And what I don't understand, Ashley, maybe you know, because I know you've been paying attention, everybody's paying attention to his case, and now we're so quick on to Robert Robles, but I want to know this. So Clinton Young in the second murder was not the shooter. He did not shoot the man. The other guy did. Why was the other guy not indicted in this murder also? If you're coming 20 years later indicting Clint, why ain't you indicting the shooter also? Well, you know why? Because they need somebody to testify on Clint. And he's not going to do it unless you give him some kind of break. You know what I mean? Myth, you're definitely not watching the recording. This is live. I'm just getting so many comments that I got to stay on subject. Dolores, I appreciate it. Hey, listen, a lot of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that screen for me, y'all. We're about 140 people. Double tap the screen. Take your two fingers and go. And look, I just got off of work, hands still dirty. That's how important this video was to me, that I wanted to do it. I ain't took a shower, I ain't did nothing. I'm hungry. I just worked 10 hours, and I still wanted people to know how unfair this is and how I really don't think nothing's going to work. You know what I mean? Dolores, the Menendez brothers, we know they're not innocent. No, they killed their daddy. Now the new evidence is coming out saying they were sexually assaulted, and that's why they killed their daddy. Right? So maybe they can get a sentence reduction or something like that. But in all reality, the law doesn't care why you kill somebody. If you raped me yesterday, and I kill you today, it's still a murder. If you sexually assaulted me growing up and I kill you, that's a murder. The death has to happen while the event is occurring, right? Like if you're presently raping me and I kill you, that's not a problem. If I kill you the next day because I'm mad or because my pride is hurt or I'm just upset, then no, it's still a murder. You know, I got a friend right now serving 40 years. He's serving 40 eggs. Listen, he was at his uncle's pool hall right here in West Texas City. He was at his uncle's pool hall. Two dudes jump him, beat him up bad. He runs inside, gets his pistol, comes out and shoots him. Well, even though it only happened like 20 seconds later, the police considered that first incident over. And now he's the aggressor of the second incident. And he's serving 40 years for it. It was a split decision. He didn't want to get jumped. He didn't plan on getting jumped. They beat him so mad, he was angry. Texas does not believe in something called a crime of passion here, right? Crime of passion doesn't exist, and it's not real in Texas. You walk in and catch your wife sleeping with another man and kill them, they don't care here. 2 murders. You know, it's a trip. Oh, got 100 likes. Thanks, Shad. Double tap the screen. Doop, doop. Make sure you're subscribed. It's Texas Prison Stories on YouTube, Spotify, Facebook. I'm everywhere. Man, damn. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that, my brother. Look at that. One of the realest cats ever. It really is, man. Shout out to Illinois, too. Y'all drop your location in the chat. Let me know where you're coming from. How many are in Texas and how many other places? And yes, so the law is in black and white, right? The law is in black and white. So therefore, they think black and white. They interpret it black and white. You know, the thing with Clinton is, okay, I see you dropping them locations. Keep dropping them locations for me. Shout out to the UK, Detroit, 2 UK, 3 UKs in here. Look at that. We got 3 people in the UK watching. Victoria, California, Santa Clarita. Appreciate that. Thank you. So the law is black and white. Whether the law is right or wrong, we as citizens must know it, though. That law of parties, Humble Texas, what's up, bro? Big B. The law of parties is dead wrong. But at the same time, every now and then it's right. Because check this out. If you drive me to somebody's house and I kill them, and then you drive me back off, should the driver get the same charge as the shooter? Probably so. Will the driver get the same charge as the shooter? Probably not, because the driver's probably going to tell, and that's just real, right? So sometimes, shout out to Nigeria, that's what's up. My man Michael, 90 Day Fiance, I think that's where he's from. But yeah, no, in our reality, so I mean, the law is the law, and the only way to change it is to change it, period, because they're going to enforce it. You know, capital murder in Texas is extremely serious. Capital murder in Texas means premeditated, You killed a police officer, or the murder happened in the commission of the crime. So if I'm buying drugs or selling drugs and I kill you, that's capital murder. The punishment for capital murder in Texas is life without parole, life with parole, or the death penalty. That's it. You're not looking at 5 to 99 no more. You're looking at life with parole, life without parole, or the death penalty. And life with parole in Texas is still 40-year minimum, right? So either way, at a grown man's age, a life with parole is still a death sentence. You're just going to die in your cell. That's all it is. I kind of do too, but I kind of don't, right? Because things that are important in some states just aren't important in the others. I don't know. It. I believe in states' rights. Put it like that. I really do. And in Texas, we believe in the Republic of Texas. We wish like hell that we could break off and be our own country. We do it in a heartbeat down here. If we could do it without a civil war, Texas would already be flying its own flag. I promise you. It's just how we feel. So we don't want federal people coming in here messing with us too often. You know what I mean? But every now and then it's needed. Like Ruiz versus Steele. When they got rid of the building centers, they were mass incarcerating men back then. It was overcrowded. They were sleeping on the floors and shit back then, sleeping in the gyms, and inmates were the guards. That took the federal system to come in and fix that. And the reason it was even like that to begin with, they could run an entire prison with a warden, captain, and 5 COs. That's only about 7 paychecks they had to pay to run an entire prison. And this prison is profitable. They're having hog farms, cow farms, vegetable farms, sign shops, tire shops, anything that you can imagine, right? It took the federal government to step in and say, nah, Texas ain't right. And that's why it got a little bit better. And that's what they're hoping right now happens with the air conditioning system. So every now and then the feds will step in and do something for us. But in our reality, most times we don't want that. But this time we need it. If it takes the U.S. Supreme Court and Dr. Phil, if you're seeing this or anybody tells you about this, make 3 more, 4 more, 5 more shows about this, Phil. Keep going, because you are the one that put their feet to the fire. If not for Dr. Phil, the man would already be executed. Think about that, y'all. It is unbelievable. But I'm glad Dr. Phil was here. And I'm going to be a fan of Dr. Phil. I've actually told people before a story, if you want to know the truth. The first day that I ever decided to do a YouTube channel, when I made up my mind at work that day, I'm going to go home and do my channel. That exact same day, the same day, Dr. Phil had a show on telling a kid not to be a YouTuber because it's too hard and you'll fail. And I said, well, that's because Dr. Phil's talking about for money. I got a job. I'm trying to do this YouTube to show these people this is not the life you want. Mine might work. And so far, so good, right? So, Dr. Phil, you was wrong about that one for me. But we appreciate this one because this is going to be a bad stain on Texas right now. Dolores, why do people keep going back to the joint? Pure and simple, mostly are drug addicts, drug addiction, uneducated. They can't get a job out here that actually support them, so they turn to crime. A lot of them are addicted to drugs, So one of the myths and the things that I see so much in the prison groups among family members is they're always saying, I hope he comes home a different man. Yeah, he's going to come home a different man, all right. He's probably going to come home a worse man. He's probably going to come home with PTSD. He might come home with an addiction to something that he never even knew about in the free world. He's going to come home with a lot of trauma on his brain. But I didn't take any programs, classes, none of that stuff that's supposed to make you better, right? I did do the interview with Dave, the real guy 85. He's in the comments right now watching. And Dave actually told me about a program. It was called the Prison Entrepreneur Program or something like that, PEP. And we're going to do a video about it. PEP was legit the only good thing I ever heard about prison. And it was something you had to be chosen to be in. It was basically like a college business course that these guys were taking. Dave came out, started his own business, and God blessed this man. It was awesome. But that program didn't rehabilitate that man. That program just gave him information he can use to make his life better, and he enacted that. You know what I mean? So, let me see. Yeah, diminished mental capacity. That's what I'm saying. That's not even taken into consideration most times. Texas has something called the MROP. It's called the Mentally Retarded Offenders Program, right? Mentally Retarded Offenders Program. Y'all listen to what I said. MROP. That means they got wings in prisons for the mentally retarded also. They don't care here. They don't give a damn what your excuse is. If you committed some crime, your ass doing some time. And that's it. So, I mean, that's real life, right? And matter of fact, prisons are the number one mental institutions. Y'all have to think about it like that, right? Prisons are full of crazy people, psych medicine patients, shit like that, that aren't getting their proper psych medications. So you go inside of a prison, you might be taking 4 psych meds in the world, or supposed to take them, but probably didn't take them. That might be why you're in prison. You go in there, they give you 1 or 2 generic weird substitutes. You know, you have men in there that you're doing time with, Heimdall blows right there. B can tell you, you'll be in there with schizophrenic people. You'll be in there with people hearing voices, people that do not bathe, people that don't brush their teeth, just crazy stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it is a mental institution. And that's why it does people worse. Because guess what? You are around mental crazy people, you got to adapt to them. And now you have to be mental. You have to be crazy. You have to out crazy these crazy people. You have to out violent the violent people. Or you'll be somebody's little girl. You know what I mean? I said this before. You can just be sitting on the bench minding your business watching TV and somebody come pick a fight with you. Now it's mandatory you have to take this fight, right? We were just talking about that little Zero situation because Trader Truth started a new food truck. They were hating on Facebook. However you feel about that situation or not, I don't care. But if Zero would have done that in a Texas prison, his own Five Deuce Hoover homies would have life fighted him up out of there because it's mandatory you stand up and fight. It don't matter if it's 4, 5, 6 guys. You curl up on the ground in a Texas prison. Your own friends that you kick it with and eat with every day will be the ones kicking your teeth in with boots because you failed. You failed to defend yourself. Like, it's just not the life you want, right? So Clinton is going through big changes in life. He's lucky that he got these 2 years out. I hope he got to fall in love with somebody. I hope he got to eat everything he ever dreamed about. Hell, I hope he got to go to Disneyland or something like that. You know what I mean? I hope his whole 2 years wasn't just out here working. But if it was, that's okay too. He said himself that he did what he was supposed to do. They didn't break him. He got a job. He did what he was supposed to, and he'll see us later. You know what I mean? And who said I wasn't for that? That's a crazy question. You said, why wouldn't you be for that, Tim? I didn't say I wasn't. Why would you assume that I'm not? Answer me that question, and I'll answer yours, East Texas, Chris. But in all reality, they can't just go around giving people stuff, right? Because what if that anti-erection medicine has some type of side effect? What if you're giving that to somebody that has a 2 year sentence and he never gets an erection again, or has a side effect and kills and all that? So no, the gunners and rape and all that, that's just men with no self-control, right? Or the rape, actually, with the rape situation is more of a power thing. It's a I control you type deal. That's all it is. And most booty bandits in prison, and this goes for everywhere, they're not physically taking it. They're not holding you. They will do it. They're not holding you down with a knife. They're putting so much pressure on these men, so much intimidation, so much fear, that these men willingly bend over and give it up. You understand? They will literally give it up out of fear. They give it up one time, there's no taking it back. You know what I mean? Men will bend over and spread them because they think you might kill them, instead of finding out if you're really going to kill them. Well, it doesn't even click to their mind that they got to kill you. They're not killers. They're not violent people. They're not in there for hurting people. You know what I mean? So how in the hell would you let somebody talk you out of your booty? I know that's probably crazy to think, but that's really how it happens. You know, they really will send people to bother you, and here comes the booty bandit trying to protect you. Like, we ran games on people like that, though, not booty games, but hey, somebody mess with this guy, somebody else tell him I can save you, $50 a week, shit like that. It's normal practice in prison, right? Mind games, mental tricks, all that type of stuff. So yeah, Yeah, we know Cali is completely different, but this is called Texas prison stories, so that's what we talk about here. No disrespect. Cali is a cakewalk compared to Texas prisons, man, if you want to know the truth. We're talking right now about an execution that happens constantly in Texas. This state is the one that will kill your ass. You do a prison murder in Texas, you'll be on death row. You know what I mean? And oh, I'm sorry about that. My bad. I'm getting tired of hearing that in my chat. Tired of hearing that, man. Respect to all my brothers out there. I love them. I got homies out there, friends out there. But man, we're gonna stop that comparison shit. Cause in my opinion, there ain't no comparison, right? And that's just the truth. And if they get mad at me, I'm sorry. We have no civil rights for our prisoners here. We have no free phone calls. There ain't been no conjugal visits since the 70s. Forced labor. There's no TVs in our cell. You can't even hang up a picture of your mama in a cell in Texas. You understand? Like, there's no comparison here. We had the same amount of murders. We got gangs. We got all that shit too. This is not the life you want in Texas prisons. It's not the place you want to. There ain't one man in Texas prisons that wouldn't cut his fingers off to be transferred to a place with TVs in their cell. You know, and that's off subject, so I'm sorry about that. I apologize. And yes, Louisiana's the same way. Guess what? While we're four stepping in the field squad in Texas, our brothers in the struggle doing the same thing in Louisiana. You know, it is what it is. I think maybe in Alabama too. You know, they believe in hard labor here. They still sentence you to 50 years hard labor in Texas. That's real truth. It ain't 50 years of sitting up on your ass and watching TV. It's 50 years of working, 50 years of free work, where they will kick your fucking ass. They will beat you half to death if you refuse to work. You don't work, you don't eat. They'll skip your meal. You ain't going to chow hall. You're getting locked. Matter of fact, they have a metal wagon in the field that they lock you in this metal wagon in the heat. You don't get no water. You don't get nothing. It's crazy, right? And when you watch Angola, it looks a lot like a Texas prison. You wouldn't notice a damn difference. And Louisiana people have the same type of feelings, same type of ideology, same type of man. Thank you, B. Appreciate that, brother. They have the same type of mentality as Texans, which is get these convicts, kill these jokers. That's all it is. And I understand. Hey, I grew up in the area with the crack epidemic, y'all. Well, you know, listen, in my life as a little kid, I couldn't keep a bicycle. I can't tell you how many times my bicycle got stolen, but I can tell you one time where my mama cried because my bike got stolen and we couldn't afford another one. You know, like I remember when crackheads was jumping our fence and like looking in our shed, doing crazy shit growing up. I remember every gas station getting robbed constantly when crack hit. You know, now it's a methamphetamine thing and it's still going. So I get it why the general public does not have any sympathy for prisoners. Some of them don't deserve it. You understand? Some of them don't deserve sympathy, but some of them do. And I was talking about this the other day that we need to actually have a better classification system. No man should be in there on his first drug case sharing a cell with a murderer. No DWI guy, if he didn't kill anybody, needs to be in there with murderers and shit like that. You know what I mean? And I grew up in Lamarck, Texas, Dolores. We were one of the epicenters of the crack epidemic when it hit. Hey, JW0, I need to redo that one. So I took down a lot of videos on my channel. You'll see a whole lot of old videos gone because when I started my channel, I was doing shit with a Metro PCS phone, low what do you call it, low resolution. I broadcast now in 1080. I got everything a little bit better, so I've taken down a ton of old videos, and I don't regret it at all. It made me lose a little bit of money on the views and all that. My channel, I believe right now is 16 million views, but if you look on my YouTube, it'll say 6 million, and that's literally just me deleting a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? And I don't mind at all. I don't mind at all. I can do it all again. You know what I mean? No, so that's true. That's what I'm saying, Shaw. The only requirement in a Texas prison is that y'all be no, I can't put them back up. I gotta redo them. That's what I'm saying. They look, so once you reach a certain level on YouTube, you people expect your shit to look a certain way. If you want to grow, if you want to make your shit flourish, you can't do it like how I started. Right? That's all it was. And I shouldn't have. I should have invested earlier, but I never really realized that this channel was gonna be a success. I never knew. I didn't have much faith in myself with this. Y'all, if you've been on my channel for a long time, y'all remember I used to chain smoke in every video? That was me being nervous. That was me uncomfortable on camera. That was me not liking YouTube, not used to having 100 and something people watching me, not used to trolls and all that. It was very difficult at first. That's the reason why everybody don't have a YouTube channel, because this shit ain't easy. It really ain't. I don't know how long have I been sitting here talking, probably for 50 minutes. Everybody can't do it. You know, yeah. So I was smoking the vanillas, Durst. This is how I even quit, right? All my life I smoked Prince Albert vanilla cigars. They look like Black and Milds, but they were vanillas. They literally stopped making the shit that I smoked my entire life. I tried like hell to smoke anything else and didn't like them. Didn't like Black and Milds, didn't like nothing else. So I just quit. And you know what? That was God. How often does somebody be in an active addiction of something and that shit just disappears in the world? It never. That's strange, right? That's why I give that credit to God. I didn't quit smoking. They quit selling the shit I like to smoke, and everything else was just gross. You know what I mean? And look, man, Heimdall, I did start trying to smoke Black and Milds, right? I was smoking them apple ones, but I couldn't breathe. They were taking my breath away right away. Hey, Patricia Perez, my friend from the feds. How you doing, woman? Hope everything's okay. I'm glad to see your name here. But yeah, so that was just the glory to God for that, right? I probably would still be smoking right now if that wouldn't happen. Yeah, of course, you smoking an interview, whatever. Give a damn. But I'm just not smoking. I'm the one that's the single daddy, right? I'm the one that's 44 with a 6-year old. So God struck them off for a reason, obviously, because I can't live forever, but I'm trying to live as long as I can for my daughter, right? The biggest tragedy in the world is I die young and she's got to be alone in this world, and I can't have that. So daddy's going to do every damn thing it is. Right now, guess what? I ain't drank nothing besides water. I put them little flavor things in it. I ain't drank nothing but water for probably 6 months. Back lifting weights, working out. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally trying to do better, y'all. While you're watching all these other YouTubers fall off, get into fights, get into arguments and all that, Snow is over here actually trying to you messed me up when you said that, Pat. Cut it out. Uh I'm trying to live as long as possible, right? I'm trying to be healthy. I ain't lifting weights no more because I like to fight. That was the young Tim. I'm working out, lifting weights, trying to live longer. I'm trying to be in shape. I'm eating good. I'm drinking water. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out to you and your daughter, Dad. Much respect. And just plain and simple, there's small changes, right? But everything is baby steps. Everything is baby steps in life. You got to crawl before you walk. That's the number one thing they tell you in prison. You must crawl before you walk. And you got to walk before you run. So they tell you that when you get there. If you get to a prison and you just try to take over, right when you get there, they're going to tell you, you got to crawl before you walk. You don't even know who's got what's going on. You know what I'm saying? KK, that sounds like a setup, huh? It does. But listen, so you can't expect to do it out in the world, nor can you expect to just take off running when you change your life. You know, I wasn't ready to quit smoking and only drink water and eat good all on the same day. Hell no, that took a while, right? Like, and what even happened to why happened when I started drinking nothing but water? My kidneys started hurting out of nowhere. While my daughter was having kidney problems, here comes my shit hurting. Like, oh no, Dad, you got to drink water. Started drinking water that hadn't happened ever again. Oh, the working out thing. Yeah, I just like to work out. I like to lift weights. You know what I'm saying? I always have. But I got my shoulder broke in the feds while they jumped on me. It took 5 years for my shoulder to get back into shape. I'm a man that worked out 10 years straight, never missed a day before I went to the feds. 240, lifting unbelievable amounts of weight in every exercise, squats, deadlifts, knocking out as many pull-ups as I want to. Go to the feds, big as hell, and get my shoulder broke. Had to stay in the shoe for like 70 something days with my shit healing wrong. In the shoe, you can't buy commissary. All you get is one bag of coffee and one Snickers a week. I lost for 73 days. I sat in there and just lost weight, lost muscle mass. Get to the next spot, and I can't even hold a coffee cup up. Think about this, y'all. You're in prison. In prison, you can't even really defend yourself because you can't hold a coffee cup up. That was scary. That was scary as fuck. I was supposed to stay in a sling. When I caught change to the next place, guess what I did? I left the sling on the bus because I was just beefing with them Tongo blast dudes, and I didn't know if it was going down at the next spot, and I didn't want them to see nothing weak about me. So I threw the sling away. When I got in there and I met AR-15 and I realized everything was going to be cool, I bad wished I could have got that sling back. That's part of why it took 5 years, because me, knowing I didn't want to look like a victim in prison, threw this thing away and hurt myself for years. It just is what it is, right? I knew better than walk in there like that, though. I didn't want to look like a victim coming in. But in all reality, the entire time in there, I could have been one, right? I was having arguments with all kind of people that normally would have been me being like, fuck you. But no, I had to be a different Tim at that time. Sometimes let little small shit slide, all kind of things, because I can't even hold a coffee cup. Like this is real. This is real life we're talking about. And Don, thank you. All right, man, I really appreciate that. That's what I'm saying. So I'm trying, to put my life together, right? And it's hard being a single father, man. Life is expensive out here. Food constantly. Hey, just bought a Halloween costume. Got to do all that type shit. Just had her birthday. Here comes Christmas coming. She's now at this age where she understands Thanksgiving. Like it's a lot of day to day stuff that you got to stay on being a good parent, and that's why so many people fail, I guess, because it's a full-time job. It really is, but it's a rewarding job, Don. Like I told somebody the other day, I think today, matter of fact, my friend, like, man, I don't go nowhere, I don't mess with nobody, I work, I come on back home and do it again. Might make a video sometimes, might not. And these videos are really hard for me to do, if you want to know the truth. So I go to work, I start working at 6 a.m. and I'm usually off around 5. Right, that's 11 hours straight of driving the truck, shifting all these gears. It's bumpy as hell all day because I'm a dump truck driver, off road and all that. Like it's shit wears you out physically, mentally, and then you got to come home and cook. You got to come home and clean. You got to come home and get your baby to take a bath, brush her teeth. Spend time with her, watch TV, read books. I'm doing all this shit, right? I'm like, it's a full-time job, but it's worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's worth it. And I'm fixing to tap up out of here, Pat. KK, Gia, Durst, my boy, M Star Media, Jaguar, Shata Da, 007, Don, Dolores, man, everybody, listen. Wayne, I appreciate that like hell, my brother. Heimdall Blows, thank you so much for that, y'all. It means a lot. It always does. And do me one favor, y'all. Take your finger, double tap the screen. Let me get them likes up. There's over 100 people watching right now. Before I go, double tap the screen. If you didn't know how to do it, now you do. So on these vertical lines, it's super easy. You just pop, pop. It's free, and I swear your finger won't fall off. Support the channel. We never ask for anything. All I ask for is you double tap that screen and get these likes up, and we'll see y'all later. God bless Robert Robles, and thank you, Dr. Phil. We'll catch y'all later.